Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank, first of all, before we get our guest speaker on here, I'd like to thank Ms. Natasha Ismail, Regional Director. Thank you so much. Miss Anna from Texas, now left Phoenix in Texas. Great testimonial last night. Great testimonial. Thank you so much. Mr. Daryl Ranson, thank you so much, sir, out there in Nashville, Tennessee. Mr. Vaughn Templeton, up there in Memphis, Tennessee. Mr. Edmund Smith, thank you, sir. So faithful. Mr. Jordan C., I understand you're going to bless us with this week. We're doing some of the 1 through 10. Miss Marcia Carter down there in Fresno, and her dear great brother, who's a regional director, Mr. Marvin Carter, sir, regional director. Miss Natalie, thank you so much in Las Vegas. Miss Castro, thank you. Always a good job doing the presentation there in Phoenix. Mr. Robinson, thank you so much, part of the bakery organization. Mr. Brian Baker, regional director. Also, Mr. Brian Blinn, thank you in Southern Cal, SoCal. Miss Dominique Young up there in Nashville, hey. Our school teacher. Whoever FS is, thank you so much. Mr. Pearson, thank you so Richards, thank you so much. Miss Tracy Gilmore, part of the bakery organization. We have our friends on from Japan. Hey, I see our friends on from Japan. All right, thank you so much for joining us in Japan. Miss Walker, thank you so much. And Miss Martinez, thank you so much in Iowa. Today's her son's birthday. Yeah. Yes. Her son's birthday today. Man, I know that when they grow up, it's a little different. Hey, TJ, thank you so much singing out there. And Lady Queen V in New York. The New York accent, New York. Yeah, I love it. Hey, folks, we got a great call lined up. And you know it's Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday. And this young man, we sent the flyer out. We have it posted on our site today. And I sent him a text the other day. I go, who is this handsome man? Mr. Dean Tarrolly. And he's with us every Thursday of the month of June. So we hope you guys like the flyer that we sent out this morning, and also let everybody know we respect his time, respect him as a leader, and we enjoy his talks and his conversation. So without further ado, hold on a second. Let me get my little dossier. Let me get my notes. Let me get all my notes from Mr. Dean Tarrolly. Hey, you know, one of the things I love about this young man, he's just so precise. He's so down to earth with this information. He's so laid back, but also very thorough with what he says, how he projects what he does. And we just want to give him all the time he needs this morning. And we respect him, and we want to let him know how much we appreciate his time, you know, with a beautiful family to be on our call. And I love it when he has his coffee laid back with us. And I love it on Friday nights when he come join us for our happy hour on Friday night, if and when he can make it. So without further ado, the man from Southern California, the great, the one and only Mr. Dean Tarrolly. Sir, good morning.
Mr. Al Thomas, good morning. Am I coming in clear?
Yes, sir. We can hear you
Awesome.
very clear. There you are. Now I can see you.
Right on.
We got a regional director, Mr. Chris King, on the call today as well. Sir, good morning. I just noticed I'm on the call. I like to get all the RDs. I like to always give the RDs a salute. A salute to all the RDs. And Mr. Sergio in Mexico. I forgot to give him all the people from Japan, Mexico. We got people from different countries, and some from IBOs are from India. So thank you, sir. All yours.
That's awesome. So, man, international call this morning. So better bring it, you guys. So here's the thing. You know, we always kind of start this Thursday the same way. I hope that hope everybody is well. Hope everybody is safe. Hope everybody is healthy. I think we are now starting to really see the world start to open up. And you know, when Mr. Thomas opens these calls every Thursday, the ones that I get to do with you guys, you know, it's pretty amazing that a person, I'm sitting here thinking about this as he's doing his good morning, right? And I'm having my coffee and my camera wasn't quite on yet, and I'm watching everybody start to plug in, and I'm thinking to myself, just 5 minutes ago, how many times do you think Mr. Thomas has done this? How many times do you think he's created a leadership, whether it's in person or now over Zoom? I really want you guys to think about this for a second before I dive into a couple quick topics to go over with you, just maybe to set things up for today and for the weekend. How many times do you think he's done that? Here's my answer. As many as required to build his business and to serve the people on his team. So whether it's 5 Zoom calls a week, the presentation calls, the training calls. I'll say the same thing to start every call with Mr. Thomas. You guys, I would not take his time for granted. I wouldn't take these calls for granted. Clearly you're not. This is, over 50 people attending, and I know that a lot are on the West Coast, and the day's kind of getting started. And if you're in the Midwest and the East Coast, you're in the middle of the day. If you're in Japan, I think I'm not even going to guess. I'm guessing it's still Thursday, but it may not be. So, it's just proof.
Friday.
It's Friday. Okay. She just shook her head like this. Absolute proof that what I just shared with you would mean that anybody can become a regional vice president if they want to. You don't have to know a lot. You have to get good at a few things. So that's one of the things I want to talk to you guys about today is spending your time doing things that advance your business, right? Because what happens is, I think what happens in ACN is the longer we're in and the more information we know, the less time we spend doing the things that advance our businesses. One of the things I talk to people all the time about is be new. And one of the things about being new, what does a new person want to do? I mean, you guys, let's, if this was open, I'd say, let's talk about it, but we can, I can discuss for both of us. What do we want a new person to do? We want them to get their points, their personal customer points, right? Obvious. And we want that new person to introduce us to people that they know. That's it. I mean, think about this, you guys. When you have a new person, what else do you really want them to do? We want them to get qualified and start getting some customers. And we want them to get us in front of the people that they know. Now, here's what's crazy. Let's say I joined your team today. And let's say maybe I had some network marketing experience or other experience, and I joined your team. I'm sitting with you. So I want you to pretend you're sitting with Dean. I'm sitting with you. And we hit submit on my rep agreement. And I have an IBO number. What do you want me to do? You want me to get qualified, so I have a success story, and you want to get into my market and find out who I know that might be open to looking at what we're doing. So do y'all agree with that? Yes or no? That's what we want to do, right? With a new person. That's it. That's it. We're not trying to train someone who is brand new in the business on every aspect of ACN. That's too much. You want to narrow your focus to the few things that need to be accomplished to get the new person a result. We are a process-driven business, but we are result-oriented, right? We are, in fact, you could take those words and reverse them. We are we are process driven, meaning there's a process that we all have to go to, but we need to get someone a result. So I have a couple things to share with you guys. So let's talk about results, okay? Let's talk about results. So I'm going to give you a little bit of leadership in terms of a result. What is the responsibility of a leader? What is it? And people have all kinds of different questions, right? Or different answers to that question. What is the responsibility of the leader? Well, here's what I have as the responsibility of a leader. The number one responsibility of a leader is to find and develop other leaders. Because see, it's the old chicken and the egg question, right? Are leaders found or are leaders made? Leaders are found, leadership is developed. That's my opinion. See, here's something that's great, you guys. Like think about this. Like life's so great. Like life gives us clues. If someone is a leader in one industry, it is very reasonable to assume that they could become a leader in our industry, in our business. If someone is a business owner and they're a leader in one area, there's a very reasonable chance that they could be a leader in ACN. Why? Because leadership has the same traits regardless of the venue, regardless of the vehicle. Leaders, what do leaders do? Personal responsibility. They're self-disciplined. They have a big vision. They create an environment where their team can win. These are all attributes of a leader. And if somebody has done that in one area, they can certainly do it in another. Will they? That's up to them. But I believe that they do. Mr. Thomas is proof. See, I know for a fact that Mr. Thomas had a level of success, an extreme level of success before he got involved in network marketing and before he, and now he has that success not only in this business, but like many successful people, he applies those skills in more than one area. So it's important to understand that leaders can be found, right? Leadership in ACN is developed. So check this out. This was on my mind to talk to you guys about. So I went into some notes like that we're talking about 4 or 5 years ago from a leadership that I did. So the first thing I wanted to tell you guys to make sure that we're clear is the number one responsibility of a leader is to find and develop other leaders. Here's the other thing that you should know. Leaders are problem solvers. We talked about this a month ago, but this is a big thing right now. Why? Because the perception right now is people have a lot of problems. The perception is that, whether it's time problems, scheduling problems, getting back to work problems, whatever they are. So when you're talking with someone, either on your team or a new person, are you a good problem solver? Okay. Now, a problem solver does not mean trying to pound a square block into a round hole. That's not problem solving. See, when I problem solve with someone, maybe somebody has a $200 issue getting started. Maybe somebody has a hard time figuring out how to make ACN work within their schedule, everything that's going on right now, whatever the case may be. Whatever the challenge or the issue is, how are you problem solving that issue as a leader? See, what I do is I always, at least I try to make it a we thing, not a you thing. So I would say, let's say I have a chance to work with Mr. Al Thomas, and Mr. Thomas is running other businesses and banks and all this other stuff. And I say, well, Mr. Thomas, how do you think we could fit this in? How do you think we could take advantage of the timing of what's going on with this company? How do you think we could, what's your idea on how we could work together to make this happen for you? How could we, what's your idea on how we could do this so you don't miss out on what's going on? Do you hear that? That, you guys, language makes a big deal. How do you see, how can we work together so you don't miss out on what's going on? See, to me, that is language. You guys get this, please. That is language that is laced with confident expectation. Confident expectation is everything. Look, you guys, when you're signing up a new rep, are you expecting that person to win? Or when you're signing up that rep, are you hoping that they don't toast? Are you hoping that they call you in a day? Like, I'm telling you, the way you think makes a difference. So right out of the gate, confident expectation, right? So I'm gonna give you guys something. So check this out. So I'm a sports fan, and I was watching a college football game. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. And at the time, right now he's the coach of Texas A&M, but at the time, he was the coach at Florida State, FSU, Florida State University, the Seminoles. And his name is Jimbo Fisher. And these guys were getting their butts kicked at halftime. And you guys know that coaches will light into you because they need to at certain times. By the way, that happens in ACN sometimes. Sometimes, a coach's responsibility is to tell you the things you need to hear, not the things that you want to hear. Right? Okay. So, I had one named Mike Basutti. I'll have to tell the story another time. But we were doing a meeting, and I was starting to say some stuff and do some stuff that was completely out of order. And this was an individual that had a lot of influence that we were presenting to. And I got a kick under the table, cracked my shin, right? Because I was, and I needed his coaching. I was taking the conversation in a direction that it shouldn't have been going for us to accomplish the goal that we had, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying that anyone here is going to kick anyone under the table, but it's an Italian to Italian, and that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. So anyway, so check this out. So here we go. At halftime, Florida State is getting their tails kicked. They come back. They're down like 24 points at halftime, and they come back, win the game. And it was two different teams. If any of you have watched sports, sometimes you watch a game, and the team that you watch in the first half and the team that you watch in the second half, you're like, what? This is like a different team. So who knows what was said at halftime? I'm going to tell you what Jimbo Fisher said at the end of the game. Please write this down. I'm going to give you guys something that I train at every single leadership I do. So here's what he said, and I thought it was genius. In fact, I thought it was so good that I took the remote, I paused it, I rewind it, and I wrote it down. There's two things he said, and I wrote it down until I got it word for word exactly what he said. So here's what he said. Here's the first one. Ready? He's being interviewed after the game, and he says, he's like, what happened, coach? And you got your team, and what did you tell your team, and how do you put this in perspective? This was quite a comeback. And here's what he said. He said, here we go. Efforts get acknowledged, results get rewarded. Efforts get acknowledged, results get rewarded. Are you guys in this to be acknowledged for your effort? I hope not. It's something that a leader will do along the way. How great, because most people aren't recognized at their jobs for the effort that they put in. But results get rewarded. What's a result? Hey, new person, get your customer qualified. Let's help you. You just got your new person a $75 check because you helped them get 3 services within their first window of time. 5 services, they got $200. Efforts get acknowledged, results get rewarded. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, he is talking to me and my ACN leaders. Because what does everybody say? You guys, let's talk about this. Let's have a real conversation about this. What do people say? I'm trying. I'm working. I'm trying. I'm talking to people. Well, you talked to one person this week. That's not very many people, right? Efforts get acknowledged. Results get rewarded. So do we want the effort? We need the effort. But the question is, what's your goal? And I know that if you're on this call, your goal has to be one day executive team leader, regional director, regional vice president. And I'll let you guys know my goal is to get to Mr. Thomas's position. Are you kidding? I didn't sign up in this thing I signed up in this thing to win. There you go, SVP. Natasha's like putting it right on the camera. That's why we do this. Okay, so that's that. Do you guys want the second quote? Are you sure? Okay. Okay. So this is really important. This is really, really important. So I want you to get this, and I want you to get it word for word. Now, before I tell it to you, when people sign up, everybody signs up because they want to do well. They want to win. They want to make some money. They want to build a business. I understand that. You understand that. People want to, you sign up, to win. But here's what you need to know. And here's what he said in the same interview. He said, he was asked, it was something to the effect of, well, how did the team, so he said the first thing, results get rewarded. And he goes, well, what happened? And he said, my team has been trained. Like, we work at the things that you saw. They were not executing in the first half, blah, 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 blah. So here's what so the interviewer said something like, well, you won the game, and oh my God, what a comeback. And here's what he said. And you know what's crazy, you guys? Here's what's so great about great coaches. He didn't make a big deal out of what he just said, what I'm going to share with you. It was innate to who he is. Yeah, this is going to go a little high level. Okay. He didn't have to think about what I'm about to share with you. He didn't have to go in there and ponder it over and give some, this is just second nature. This is how leaders operate. So here's what he said. He looked at the interview and he said, well, I want you to understand, you don't win because you want to, you win because you train to. And I'm like, what's the emoji with the guy with the head exploding? I'm like this. I'm like, that's ACN. You don't win because you want to. Who the heck signs up in ACN not to win? Right? Who, by the way, here's some language that you can be very tuned into. What if somebody says this? Well, it's only $200. If I lose it, no big deal. I doubt that person's going senior vice president unless we do some mindset work. Right? It's funny because, Mr. Thomas and some of you and Brian Baker and some of the others, you guys live in Vegas, right? What do people think when they go to Atlantic City, they go to Vegas, they go to these places, they think things like this. Well, I'm bringing $500. And when I'm done with that $500, I'm not spending any more. That's my limit. I'm spending $500. They're already thinking, I'm going there to lose $500, want to have some fun, have some free drinks, whatever, hang out by the pool. But when that $500 is gone, that is my gambling budget. And when that is gone, I am done. Blackjack, a little this, a little that, I'm done. Right? They're going in there with the expectation that is not confident. They're going in there with the expectation that this new person's not gonna get qualified. They're going in there with the expectation. I hope she likes it. I hope he likes it. I hope they don't quit. I hope they're not going in with a confident expectation. So what we're going to do with this group is be like this. Look, here's the deal. I'm super excited to work with you. I have a game plan for you to get promoted and paid. I am fired up to share this with you. I have a game plan to get you promoted and paid. How fast do you want to get promoted? What does everybody say? Right away. How fast do you want to get paid? Right away. How fast do you want to make that $200 back? Immediately. Great. I have a game plan. Are you willing to follow it? Absolutely. Great. Here's what we're going to do. By the way, who would like to work with that person? Who would like to work with the person that goes like this? Tell me what to do. Tell me where to go. Tell me what to get. Tell me what to order. Tell me, and I'll do it. Well, here's the thing that you need to do. You need to be the person that has the game plan laid out for them. And why? It's right there on the paper. I just read it to you. You don't win because you want to. You win because you train to. Do you guys realize that I think that sentence separates the achievers in ACN from the people who don't? People look at you and go like this, do another training? All right. Okay, I'm not saying that that's bad, and I'm not saying they're a bad person. I'm letting you know that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Right? That may not be your leader. And one of the challenges in leadership and developing an organization is we want people to be maybe who they're not. They just may not be that person, but they can lead you to that person. I hope that makes sense to you guys. We can't make people into something we cannot alter someone and change them into someone that they don't want to be. Don't spend your time doing that. Jim Rohn talked about that. It's like changing the weather. What can you do about that? Nothing. It's like, what did he say? He's like, I wouldn't spend any time on that. What I would spend your time doing is finding people with the characteristics and the things that may stand out to you. And that's why, what do we say? What do we hear? Success leaves clues, right? So those two things, when you understand and really embrace them, efforts get acknowledged, results get rewarded. Huge. Exactly, Natasha, I wouldn't take that class. Huge. And you don't win because you want to, you win because you train to. Mr. Thomas sets these daily calls up every week. So you guys are getting trained so you can win. You win because you train to win. So how does this translate directly into ACN? Efforts get acknowledged, results get rewarded. I want you to think about this. Think of these two conversations. Or think of this conversation. I want to make sure I want to say this correctly because I want you guys to be able to use this. A new IBO in ACN talks about their activity through the week, right? Their activity. And that's okay because they're new. I did this, I did that. I plugged into this training. I watched the information on the new downline reporting and the new back. And that's a new person. Okay. they talk about their activity. Okay. A leader talks about what? Anybody want to take a shot at it? A new person talks about their activity. A leader talks about their what? I guess people can't unmute themselves. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. A leader talks about their results. Here's what I did. Here's what happened this week. What advances your business? And what advances your business is reps joining the team and customers being acquired. That's it. What you guys think about this? What else do you get paid for? Nothing. There's nothing else in the comp plan. There's nothing else in the comp plan. You get paid for the acquisition of customers and building teams of people that acquire customers quickly. So if you understand that, even as a new leader, if that's who you are inside, I want you week over week. In fact, we can do it for the balance of June that I'm going to be doing the Thursdays. The next few Thursdays, whatever. Let's figure out, like, let's have a result. In fact, Mr. Thomas, and I don't want to overstep like other calls that you might have, like accountability calls or whatever, but I think it would be awesome. I'm sorry?
Do whatever you want, sir. Do whatever you want.
Okay. Here's what I think would be really great. How about this? And this is not calling anybody out. This is open to everybody. How about next week, Thursday morning, that we have a result conversation for the first 10 minutes. There we go. I love it. Let's have a conversation about results for the first 10 minutes. And by the way, it could be something as simple as this. Sergio goes, I got a new rep. Marcia goes, I 5 personal customer points, and my team put in 30 points this week. Akiko could say, I have a new business partner that signed up in the US. Ishmael could say, I'm helping someone, I'm helping someone do this. So he said, I promoted 3 people to customer qualified. I promoted 3 people to ETL. Pat says, I have an ETL that surpassed 30 customer points. Do you guys hear the difference in the conversation? Listen to this, you guys. Listen to me. Dean, how'd you do? Well, I did 3 presentations, and that's great. That's great. What's the result of it? See, I want to know what the result is, right? You guys are on this call. You understand enough about the process, about peaking and presenting and all that stuff. I want to know what the result is. So now, guess what? The first 10 minutes of next week, we're going to have a result-driven conversation. I have one of my regional directors. I just see her on the call right now, Roxanne. She's very familiar with this conversation with me. She's very familiar because we go back and forth, and she's on her way. She's a regional director. She's on her way to regional vice president, but we have conversations, and I'll send her texts. In fact, yesterday morning, I literally said to her, I texted her, not as a manager and not as a boss. I texted her, hey, Roxanne, what's going on with this qualification and this qualification? Because what I want to know is there something that I need to do to help, or does she have it and she's good? Well, she hit me back, and as sometimes it happens in our business, one person was kind of like MIA and they're sort of afraid of their own shadow. That sometimes happens. And the other person got qualified, right? That we're waiting for the points to hit or whatever. And sometimes it takes things like, I got to get a case set up. We were just texting this morning. That's normal operating procedure. But I want you guys to be able to distinguish activity from result. Now, I'm not saying don't have activity. You have to have an activity to have a result. What I'm saying is this. What pays you is acquiring a customer and helping a new team member get started and getting them qualified. What pays you and your team is moving through a customer point threshold to get a higher percentage of residual. These are the things that you can track in your business. So what I'm asking you guys to do this week, maybe this is the first time someone has said it maybe like this. You guys, take note of what you're doing, mark it down, be accountable so you can share a result next week. And by the way, for the record, just FYI, with the number of people that are on this call, if everybody has something to report that they did, it's something that is a tangible result in their business. And we spend the entire first 30 minutes going through and finding out what everybody did. Evelyn got 3 customers. Luda promoted an executive team leader. Natasha helped someone get to 60 customer points. Tangible, readable, recordable result. And that happens next week. What a great week you had. I'm down. But it's important, because what will happen is this, you guys, and then I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Thomas. Here's what will happen. If it happens for you this week, then it can happen the following week. And now you're building on success, on a success, on a success, on a success, on a success. And by the end of July, guess what, you executive team leader on this call? You have a leg that's well exceeded 200 customer points. Great job. You have a leg done to regional director. Guess what, regional director? You're now helping someone get over 600 customer points. You're on the verge of closing out a leg to regional vice president. So let's make sure that this week we do the things that are required to get you a result. And I don't care what the result is. I just want to hear results from this week to next week. That's it. That's it. And by the way, you guys, guess what this has to do with my income? Absolutely nothing. It's not my team. Well, except for Roxanne. That is my team, right? But my point is this, is when you guys, watch this, and I'm going to wrap it up. I put everything in a bow here for you. Okay. If you get the result this week and you can communicate it, that will give you a tremendous amount of confidence. That confidence will show itself in your ability to talk to more people. Why? You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because you helped someone go executive team leader this week. You put the stake in the ground, you planted the flag, and you talked to the person, you got on their side, you talked about what we're going to do, not what you're going to do. You laid out a game plan, helped them go executive team leader. You got a tangible result for that person. And by the way, Doug Soto on the call as well, so he hears me say this stuff too, and Ishmael. Now you got that person a tangible result, and guess what that does for you? It creates confidence. And you'll be amazed at how people will be attracted to what it is that you're doing simply based on what I just shared with you, right? So you guys, make this, I want you guys to make this, I think you understand the basics on how to do this business. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this leadership call. Let's get you a result. Let's get in a situation where efforts are acknowledged and results get rewarded. Let's get in a position where you don't win because you want to, you win because you have trained to. I'm telling you, everybody on this call can help someone get customers because you've already done it. And everybody on this call can help get someone on their team because you've already done it. Let's get a result that we can all talk about. And last thing, and by the way, so the co-founder call at 10 o'clock, at 10 a.m. Pacific, Mike Basutti is actually hosting it. So I'm going to be on that call. So if you guys want to use that call, to, share with the prospect or whatever, you say, that's somebody who's coaching me right now, man. And if we need to get on the phone with someone for you guys or whatever we need to do, we'll do it through Mr. Thomas. I'm here to help any way that I can. But here's what I want you to know, that if you get a result this week and you don't show up, now listen, if you don't get a result this week and life happens and stuff happens, look, we understand it. We understand it. Like, we get it, but not really. Kind of, but not really, because we have a week. We have a week to do something. We have a week. We have a week to get some customer points to help somebody get promoted. And guess what you've done? You've actually done the very best thing that ACN has, which is help a new person find success in the business. Or if it's for you, you're leading by example. 3 most important words in ACN: lead by example. So now you're showing other people what they can do in and around all the circumstances and everything else that we're all going through. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope you got something good out of it. Mr. Thomas, you know how I feel about you and our relationship, and your mentorship for me, and being able to turn to you when I go through some stuff and kind of sorting things out. It means a lot. This is a great group. I enjoy being on here, and I hope that I hope that everybody got something that they can use today. What's up, Dave Culver? I just saw you there. I didn't say hi before. And Ed, what's going on? So, Mr. Thomas, appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dean Tarrolly. Thank you as always. Can we show him some love today? That was some good stuff. I loved it. I've got 3 pages of notes here. So, wow, that coach was amazing. The effects, wow, acknowledge and results get rewarded. And then you don't win because you want to. You win because you're trained to. When you said that, I thought about the SEALs. Man, they win because they are trained to win. I love it. And we should be SEALs. And I love the idea. Next week, I took a photo of everybody on here, so I know everybody on here. I want results. If you're not here next Thursday, I'm going to call you personally and say, hey, what's your results for the week? So we got everybody on here. Hey, thank you so much. Tonight at 6 o'clock p.m.
You got it.
Tonight, right back here tonight, after the corporate call in a few minutes, the corporate calls at 10. But tonight at 6 o'clock, myself and Miss Castro will be doing the 1 through 10 with a quick start training tonight. Tomorrow morning,